You got a deep receiving corps. I mean, I guess you got to feel pretty blessed to come into that.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a really lot of talented guys here. I think the thing that we all have to look at as a group is there's not a lot of experience. You know, I've seen this when we go to the stadium a couple times with practice, and you know, there's some nerves there, and there's some people thinking because they're in the stadium. And that's natural. I mean, there's not a lot of guys that have done it yet. I think there's a lot of guys that can do it and that want to prove they can. So I'm excited to watch them play.
Do you know who that person would be? And I know based on the defense or what you have called it, if you had to pick up a third inning, a clutch first down throw, do you know who that would be?
You
Do
know,
you have multiple people?
I think we have multiple people. I really do. I believe in those guys that way. You know, and I think that's some of the things that I've learned as we've come here, put in a new offense. We do a lot on offense that when it's all said and done, it's not exactly the way I thought it would look like, but a lot of times they can make plays and make those things work. So that's the reality of it is that's what this game really is all about. Guys got to go out and make plays, and it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the way you draw it up. There's going to be people in front of you, but if they can go out and make a play, and I have trust in, you know, I think I have 15 guys in there. I can honestly tell you I got trust in 15 guys. You know, they've made those plays.
What did you mean you think it's not what you thought it would look like?
Well, when you put a play in, it's these pretty lines on a piece of paper. There's no one in front of you. You know, there's no rush. There's no timing of what's happening. You know, obviously you got to beat press coverage. All those things have to happen, and it doesn't always look pretty. But if you make the play and you can make contested catches, and then you can do a good job on a release and catch a deep ball, you know, that's kind of what it actually is. You know. So.
How much have they improved since the spring, and also the younger guys? From the spring until now at this point.
Yeah, I've been amazed that first of all, just learning what to do in the spring was a struggle. I mean, we put in a ton of concepts. It was a lot different for them, and they struggled. And we came back, and I can tell you, I go into every meeting coaching what I want to coach. Like, you got to do a better job on this release. You got to be better at the top of the route. You got to have your eyes and fingers on the ball and catch it, instead of what are you running here? You know what I mean? And I think that's been a big improvement. And then I think that guys just learning, you know, kind of what their strengths are. You know, we have different guys that have different strengths, and if they can use those techniques, whatever it is, whether it's being better off a press release or being better at the top of a route, you know, I think they've all truthfully really improved. They've worked hard, and I'm really excited to see them play.
What do you like about him now? It seems like he's a guy who
He is really, really, really fast, you know, and the thing about him is he can run all day. So if he's out here, he can get a ton of reps. And you know, sometimes I look at him and I'm like, "Have you been in?" And you know, I go back and watch tape. He had 50 reps. You know, so he can run all day. He's really fast, and you know what? He works really hard at catching the football. I think I talked to him about that. He can catch. He's got great natural hands, but you've got to work on it every day so that every chance you have, as I look over there, he's catching on the jugs, but every chance you have, that ball's got to be caught. And I think that you know that. You know, I love the speed about him, I'll be honest with you.
Has the offenses that have been so wide open taken away the art of catching the ball in traffic, because it seems like it's all about spacing and guys seem to be open a lot more?
Not against our defense, I'm going to tell you. You know, there's times where you're open. There's times where tempo and somebody busts a coverage and that happens. I think that, you know, body control and being able to attack a football is a technique that you can use if you're running free. I mean, obviously sometimes you're running under a ball, but if you're not running under a ball, whether you're open or not, you're going up to get a ball. You know, and that's what we've always talked about. I think my experience in the NFL, everything's a contested catch, and everything's about attacking the football with your eyes and fingers, catching the ball. So, I mean, the times that you're running and the ball and your reach is perfect, that doesn't happen, you know, a ton of times.
Coach Rule talked about leadership. Who is, you know, maybe one or two leaders of this wide receiving corps that has kind of brought the younger guys and said, hey, this is how we do it here?
Yeah, you know, I think that they're all leaders right now, and I say that truthfully because the way we do it here, most of them have been here. You know, there's only a couple guys that have come into our room that weren't here in the spring. I think R.J. Snead came right in, and I could call him a leader. I think Chris Platt, who's been here for 3 years that he's been here, is going to be a leader because he is at practice every day. He does things the right way. He's on time, and he's going to go out and play. You know what I mean? So, you know, Denzel Mims is trying to lead too by being a guy that's consistent, that's here every day. You know, truthfully, and I don't have any wood to knock on, but I haven't had guys missing practice. You know, they've been here and they've been practicing. You know, and so to me, that's leadership. They're all getting their work, and there's good days and there's bad days, and they're picking guys up. You know, I think the commitment is always something you've got to teach people. because the next level, they're all committed. It's just, you know, whatever it is, a check, a different part of your life, but you're committed to it. And I think that all these guys are really trying to get into that.
How has Platt been handling the dual role now? Like,
Which dual role?
like as going to cornerback and wide receiver, splitting the time between practice?
You know, he handles all that pretty well. First of all, physically, he can do a ton of things, right? He can run. He doesn't get really tired. And, you know, it's like when he went to track. You know, it takes away from you, obviously, but I think when you're playing both or you're doing those things, I haven't noticed anything from my perspective. You could ask, you know, Coach Graham if he's noticed anything, but you know, he can pretty much do that.
He looks like a guy who's never tired.
He doesn't tire. I mean, I hope I'm always tired. He's never tired. I mean, it's amazing. You know, there was one time we must have run pretty good because he actually said, "Coach, I just need one rep." And I said, "Oh my God, you all right?" You know, and you know, all these guys, to be honest with you, they take a lot of reps, and they're in really good shape.
Obviously, there's a tradition of wide receivers coming out of Baylor. Is that something you guys talk about with them, or do you kind of want to forge your own path?
You know, truthfully, I mean, obviously, look at the history, and I came down here, I think, 4 years in a row looking at receivers. I was here with Kendall Wright. I was here for Corey Coleman. We had him out to San Francisco. So there's a great respect for the way that they play, but we're not them. You know, we've got to make our own name, so to speak. We got to do it our way, and so, you know, there's a great respect for what's happened, and hopefully, you know, people talk about us the way they talk about them, you know, whatever it is. But we just talk about the things that we got to do to get better, you know, kind of in our room.
Those older receivers are known for their speed and explosive plays. What is the prototype that you want out of a receiver here at this, you know, new kind of offense?
Well, I think, you know, offense is offense, you know, especially the wide receiver position. You want to be able to run. I mean, that's something that everyone's going to look at. It's really easy to see. But I think when it comes right down to it, they've had a lot of players that have played for me that are different styles. And if you look at it at another level, everybody catches the ball. If you can catch the football, whatever that is, wherever it is, sometimes a tough contested catch, sometimes the route that we ask you on the goal line is going to be contested. They can catch the ball, they come up with it. Other, you know, I think when you come right down to that, then it's, okay, what style of player is he? Well, he's a big, long, tall player. How does he catch it? What does he use for his, you know, what do we put him on route-wise, you know? So I think, you know, there's just speed, size, catch the ball, I mean, all that's great. You know?
You coached in the NFL, you coached in college, and you coached in Europe. Is it the bottom line, football is really not different anywhere? It's all about the fundamentals of doing it.
It is. I mean, we went to, you know, I was in Buffalo with Chan Gailey. We ran a certain offense, and then all of a sudden Chip Kelly came in with the Philadelphia Eagles, and we were running a different offense, and ultimately I coached the same thing. I come here, I'm coaching the same techniques, the same ideas. Europe was an interesting time because it was in between getting to the NFL. They were on NFL teams, but they weren't the guys. And so that was a little bit different just in terms of their development. But, you know, it's all the same.
Can you compare that development of the guys in Europe that aren't quite ready to what you're doing in college?
Yeah. I mean, I think you can. I think you can remind them and show them the things that they can do well. I think that's an important part, is really just say, look at this right here. This is what you can do. Now, this is why you did it. And I think sometimes those guys go through NFL camps and they get cut and they be in Europe and their eyes will be down, their shoulders will be you know, hey, you're a good football player. You know, your circumstance is going to get you. Your opportunity is going to come. So you're doing the same thing. But the thing I love the best, I mean, these guys are kids. And I'm telling you, they are good kids. I mean, I love every one of them. I mean, I really do. They're just fun to be around. They'll try their best. I mean, they do some knucklehead things, but I love them for it, you know what I mean? And they get better and they try and work on it. So.
How does having a versatile guy like Blake Lynch,
Yep.
how does that?
Well, you know, that's schematic a little bit. You can kind of use them, or, you know, it's some stuff that he does route-wise that is outstanding. But, you know, he's just trying to be a receiver. I mean, that's what he is. And so, you know, he's really probably showing the greatest amount of improvement in about the last week or week and a half. So I'm excited to watch him.
Do you have the entire offense installed, or are there still some things you have to do?
Yeah, I would say, you know, when you go into, we got our base offense, I would say, installed. I mean, that's Coach Nixon, you know, kind of, there's a couple other things. But now you start to work on, you know, running the same concept out of a different formation, or running in one concept to one side but switching up the backside or something like that. But I think these guys now, everything that we've put in, they'll know, you know, this is what we're into. It might be in a little different way, but I think it's basically it.
You were one of the last coaches added. When you arrived here to where you are at this moment after practice today, is it what you thought it would be? Is it did you have a picture you had kind of thought what was this going to be like, and is it that way?
It is. I mean, this is an unbelievable place. Great place to live. All of those things are. I didn't know Waco, Texas, to be honest with you. I didn't know that. So, in my family, we were moving kind of mid-year, so all of that was a little bit different. But the football itself, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, we're a very talented group of guys that I got, and it's. I thought they would be a little bit younger feeling, like immature feeling. I really don't get that feeling from this group. I think they're a little bit, obviously they're young, but they love football and they like going out and practicing. They like doing those things. So, key is they gotta love meetings. They gotta love, studying film. They gotta love all that stuff, which is a little different than what I was used to.
What's the dynamic like in that offensive staff meeting where most of you guys know each other, Coach McGuire,
Yeah.
to that group, but what's the dynamic like?
Well, if I was going to add anybody to any group anywhere in the world, I'd take Coach McGuire. I mean, because there's no better person I've maybe ever met. So, and he's helped all of us so much with recruiting and the state of Texas and all those things that are so, we've all dreamed of being down here.
Right.
I mean, when you're from somewhere else and you're talking football, you dream of being in Texas. I mean, that's just a reality. And so I think that's been a great thing for all of us. And then, Coach DeLeon is probably one of a lot of us greatest influences. We all coached with him 12 years ago at Temple. Coach Ritter was there. I knew Coach Rule. So me and Coach Nixon were together at Temple, and then we're in San Francisco together. And Sean Bell's unbelievable. We just got an outstanding fun staff to be around on offense. So.